All right. This is I seen the first video I put up on this 468 build. Looked like it got like 254 views, so it looks like might be a few people interested. Anyways, so I figured I'd do an update, part two, where I'm at with it right now. The heads are on, of course, you can see that. I lubed all the lifter bores with driven break-in oil. Lubed the face of the lifters with driven assembly grease. And they all slid in the lifter bores just beautiful. Slid right in, turning just like butter. They're no issues there. There's no drag on the lifters as far as rotational drag or up and down movement. Everything looks good there. I've got the push rods in, and I did make a mark on each push rod with a silver Sharpie in areas where I can see it, so I can see if they're rotating. I put these stud girdles on. Not that they're needed right now, but I'm planning on doing the cam brake in probably with some cut open valve covers so I can watch. I want to watch all these push rods turn, make sure my lifters are spinning. I went through and adjusted all these rockers to 0 lash. The timing card calls for 16 on the intake and 18 on the exhaust. But I set them at 0 because I wanted to crank this over by hand and just watch. I want to make sure all these are turning, and they are, which thank God they are. I figured we'd look down. I don't know if everybody's familiar with flat tappet lifters and the way the lifter makes contact with the cam lobes, but the cam is held from going forward actually by the lifter contact on the lobes. The lobes favor the front portion of the cam lobe, and there's a radius ground in the lifter and there's a taper ground in the camshaft lobe to just apply some force to make sure that that cam doesn't walk forward. I did put a nylon timing button in here, even though it's not required. It's set at 5 thousandths clearance, but it doesn't hurt a thing. I put them in other engines that didn't need them. It's redundancy or whatever, but it doesn't hurt a thing. And I figured, well, if something goofy's going on, at least I got that as help to keep the cam located properly. But yeah, everything's turning. It might live. We'll see what it does. I'm gonna run this with some cut open valve covers, like I said, so I can watch the push rods turn at least for the first 5 minutes. It's probably gonna make a mess, but hopefully the oil squirting out these rockers deflects off the bottom of the stud girdle and ends up dropping down. I'll cut the valve covers, so I just want to contain at least the bottom area of this, so the oil runs back down in the engine rather than all over on the headers and on the floor. But it'll probably be a mess either way. But I'm gonna look down this the Valley breather stacks here, so people can see just how the lifters make contact with the cam lobe. And what you'll see is, if I can zoom this in, I'll have to get a light on it, but hopefully we can see in there. Yeah, you can see pretty good. But you see that that lifter isn't centered on that cam lobe. The lobe is rearward of center on the lifter. In fact, look how close it is to coming in contact with the other lobe. Now, it's not making contact with the side of the lifter, we'd see marks on it from contact, and I'm not seeing that. It's retaining its assembly grease on there, and should be just fine. Yeah, don't want it walking around too much though. There you can see the orientation of that lifter on that lobe. Look at these other ones here. Maybe some experts, if they see something wrong, they can point it out to me. That looks pretty good. Hard to see that one. I'll have to. I don't know. Let's see here. Looks pretty good. Probably be able to see a little bit better if I didn't have these valley vents on here. But they're all the screws are Loctited in place, and they're sealed with silicone around the openings a little bit, so I'm not pulling them off. Let's see. Yeah, the orientation looks pretty good to me. I don't know. This engine had a Comp 292 Magnum hydraulic cam in it for quite. I pulled that cam out of this engine. It looked okay, so I'm thinking the lifter bores are probably indexed pretty good. I hope, anyways. I got no way of measuring that. I don't know what kind of a gizmo you need to check the lifter bore angles, and something I don't have, that's for sure. So we're going to cross our fingers on that, and next I'm going to get the oil pan on, and harmonic balancer, intake, cut up valve covers, carb, and then I gotta get, once I get the balancer on, I gotta take and put a piston stop in number 1 cylinder and dial in where 0 degrees is on the timing mark. Oh, and I got a Menzier, I think that's how you pronounce it, Menzier water pump going on it. That should save some horsepower. Melling high volume oil pump. It's got the 70-pound spring. I want to make sure I'm getting oil pumping out of all the bottoms of these lifters. I did disassemble all these lifters the other night and cleaned them all, and there was crud inside of them. More than I expected. I figured there'd be some stuff in there, but the first one I took apart, I blasted with brake clean and seen a whole bunch of gray shit come out, and I said, what the hell is this? So the next ones I swabbed out with a rag, just so I can see what's on there, and there was some glittery crap in there. Kind of disappointed in that, but I'm glad I cleaned them out, because one of them actually, when I wiped it inside, there was enough crud in there to actually plug the EDM hole in the bottom of the lifter. So there's a pretty substantial amount. And I don't know what it is. I did a little research on one of the Facebook groups, and one guy said he sees that a lot with the EDM hole lifters, is residue in there from them burning the laser hole through the bottom of the lifter. Well, that should be cleaned out. There shouldn't be any of that crap in there. These cam break-ins have a hard enough time as it is to survive, so you don't need all that extra abrasive coming through that hole. You don't need the abrasive anywhere in the engine. It's just bad. So I'm glad I cleaned them out. I'm hoping for the best, and maybe next video I do, it'll be on the stand, and we'll be touching this thing off, see what happens. All right. Hope everybody's project is going good, and comment. Pick this stuff apart. That's how we learn. If you see something I'm doing wrong here, definitely chime in. We learn from everybody. So have a good night.